So what's up everyone, and welcome back to the Walker in Orlando, your ultimate guide to all things epic here in the heart of Florida. I hope you guys got your walking shoes on because we've got a universe size update coming your way. But before we dive into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you never miss an update from the Walker in Orlando here and all the updates to come in the Central Florida area. Today's updates will be taking us to Epic Universe. We'll be talking about everything from all the new attractions that will be coming to the Epic Universe, all the construction, all the new things, from Harry Potter to How to Train Your Dragon to the front entrance to Starfall Racers. We're going to be talking about all of that stuff. And you know what? We've got some amazing footage from our friends over at BioConstruct on Twitter. If you haven't done so, make sure you head over to Twitter. Give him a follow. He posts amazing stuff, not just from the Epic site, but from all around Central Florida, including some updates coming around as well. So make sure you guys strap on those boots, get ready to go on an adventure as we walk you through all the Epic Universe updates. Start out our construction update, we're going to start out with kind of a fun overview. So normally I show you the full overview of Epic Universe, but this is a great view of everything. So off the one, so you can see 1 through 7. You got 1 is where you got some development working on for potential maybe expansion. Number 2 is your Luna Nova Resort. Your number 3 is your Stella Nova. 5 is all the road work that's being done for Epic Universe. Number 6 is Epic Universe in the backside, as you can see how much work is being done, how big this is. And number 7, you can see kind of in the distance of where Universal is in relation to this. Actually, number 7 is where the convention center is. And really far in the back, you could definitely see where Universal is. Tells you how far away this is. Then you've got a nice low shot of what the skyline of Epic Universe is going to look like, kind of from the behind view. You got the in the park hotel right there. You got some backstage for it looks like the manor attraction for that. You got Starfall Racer, which is going to dominate the skyline. Kind of a cool thing before we really get into any lands is kind of your back of house. So this looks like this is where you're going to have your probably employee parking area, all that stuff like back of house. And in the very distance, you can see the little arrow. That is where Dr. Doom's is, and that's where you can tell how far away this is. First time hearing about this, I thought this was super far away, but it's really not as far away. I think it's only like a 10-minute drive, 10-minute drive, depending on traffic. But you can see all the work to the left of all the work they're doing on this roadway to bring in Epic. Because that was a big deal, was that if you're going to bring it, they had to work on the road structures. And I kind of want to show you guys this little area really quick before we get into the park. There's like this undeveloped area. This looked like it was like a major staging area, but this potentially could be an expansion of some sort down the road. But nothing announced yet, because right now we're just trying to get Epic open. And then, just really quickly, here's some fun staging area as well. Kind of like what this would look like normally. This is where you kind of have all your stuff. This is where they have test things. This is where your concrete kind of goes when it's being built. This is kind of like a test site for them to do all this stuff. Start out our Epic Universe update adventures. We're going to be starting near the main entrance space. So we're going to start out with kind of a nice aerial shot of what the entrance space is going to look like. Looks like they have completed the portal that they had from previous times. And here's another aerial view. It looks like you've got your security checkpoint, which underneath the gray structures, you got these weird little hexagonal things that this arrow is pointing at going into the actual entrance point. What I do love about this is it does dominate the skyline with these buildings. You really can't really see into Epic, so it's really going to be kind of a nice surprise when you do walk in. Kind of off to the right, you saw where all the purple kind of was. This looks like it's going to be the admission sales and your guest service building. Now it's very big. So this may be like a lot more your break space, but it's also going to be like where your VIP tour guides will probably pick you up and everything as well. Here's kind of a new side view that you have. So like you can see you'll come in from left to right. And you've got, like I said, probably you're going to have your wheelchair, your ECVs, your stroller rentals all off to the left with the portal on the right hand side right there. Here's another side view of it from where you'll have the left to right view, or the right to left. So you got your admissions building, probably your security checkpoint space, probably another like little mini guest service space, and then your actual entrance into Epic. Here's kind of a cool overhead view coming down where you'll essentially walk up to the main entrance of Epic. You can't really tell a lot because a lot of it is still being used for the, like, you can see all the tracks and everything for the work being done. Now kind of a good view of your portal, and that's because it is Epic Universe, it is all portal heavy. Nothing wrong with that, it's just how it is, and I'm really excited about this. So you got your main portal for your main entrance coming in. Here's kind of another side view of it, looking at it from the other side, and you got all these buildings and all these facades, and like I said, you look like these are going to be exit points coming in and out, but I wonder off to the left and the right of this portal you'll have more of those touch point type things. Here's kind of a good view of where it looks like you've got like a construction going on a beam right here. You got some elevation change behind. Looks like all this will be backstage area. Potentially maybe more walk path to come into because they will have the Stella and Luna Nova resorts. Here's a great up-close view of the portal. Now, the last time we saw this portal, it was still being cured, and it was all back when it rained a lot. But you got all these little things on the very top, and I wonder if this is going to have like your signage. They're going to have something going, probably a giant thing going across the top, like a building. But I wonder if there'll be lights and spectacles, and maybe, you know, they really would be cool if they had a little bit of mist. Now, I don't know if they will because the workers will be under there. You don't want them to get drenched in the mist all day long. So once you enter into the portal, the first thing you're going to walk right up to is the cascading water fall feature that will end up ending right at this pond. So when the second you first walk in, you're going to have this immediate kinetic energy of water falling. And I'm really excited about this because it looks so stinking good. Once you kind of come into the portal here, you're going to look off to the left. There's going to be one of the buildings, one of the big shopping centers right here off to the left. So here's a great overhead view of all of the cascading waterfalls coming from the big pond all the way down. That's going to come all the way down. And you got, looks like some bridge foundations going to be going on to potentially walk around it or walk through it kind of thing. And it's just going to have so much kinetic energy and everything. Here's another great view when you're looking. So we looked off to the left of the entrance. Now we're going to look off to the other side to the, looks like another where the water feature will be, but then like your other shopping potentially area, potentially maybe quick service, maybe your Starbucks right there, and everything else, plus where you might exit out of the park and go back out once you do leave the park. So here's a great backside view of all that kinetic energy. You got this hexagon building, which is going to be your sit-down restaurant that's going to be at the very top, which will be right next to all this kinetic energy. And if anything's saying like what it's been for Epic lately, the food that they've brought out has been absolutely amazing. Here's another great view you can kind of see coming from the hexagon off to the right where the restaurant is, going all the way down through these ponds, constantly flowing, you know, having that kinetic energy. I just think it's going to be really relaxing kind of just to sit here and watch this. Here's another side view of when you come off from the portal to the left. You've got your building, your shopping potentially building. Is a huge building, so lots of potential here. And right behind us, they got some curved steel beam stage. Now, I'm not sure what this is for. Probably for more of this facade that they're building. Another great view of the roof being worked on potentially the another shopping area, potentially quick service, Starbucks, you know, exit points. That's what it looks like they're doing here. Here's a fantastic shot of post security into the portal, going into the area. Oh, this is a great view. This is kind of what gives you an idea what it's going to look like. This portal, your touch points or your turnstiles, so used to touch points really, going in, and then the first thing you walk into is this cascading waterfall effect. But I do love that these buildings are tall because you won't be able to see much. You'll be able to see through the portal and possibly out to the left and right depending on what they build here. Here's a great view of your where the restaurant is, where you got your cascading ponds that will lead into the cascading falls. You can see the openings at the very bottom. You got like more of these hexagon location things that they're building all around. Now I'm not sure what these are going to be. Here's a fantastic view of the rest of Celestial Park. Not much on the Celestial Park front when it comes to what's happening, so I make sure you guys are aware of that. But this is actually going to be kind of a cool thing. So the rumor is that they're going to have a nighttime show where it's going to start with the pond right here. You'll have the pond here. It looks like a lot of seating space, but then possibly standing behind it. Then there's talk about having projections on the in-park hotel, but then you've got the peninsula behind it where possibly they may shoot off some fireworks. And the nice thing about Epic, it's not around a lot of super heavy residential area like Universal Studios is, because they can actually shoot off fireworks. They can actually do some of those cool nighttime effects. And really, if they do that, that would look really good because they're redoing the one at Universal Studios. Alright, so now we are going to move on to a small land update. So there is no Super Nintendo Land update for this one, but we are going to start out, we're going to go right into the Ministry of Magic Harry Potter land space. So we're going to start out kind of by the main portal area. They've got some of this colorful pavement starting to be done, as we talked about in the last one. They have the Elder Wand in the hand for the portal to go in. Looks like they've really started working on the portal stuff. It looks like you'll enter in through the portal, and then off to the left it will be kind of the exit out of the land. Here's a great overview of the portal coming in, kind of the behind, right next to where Starfall Racers is, kind of like where the little tavern pub is. You're going in to the actual Ministry of Magic, and they've really built this up. Like, you will really feel like you're in like Paris. So then you've got the copy of the Port Saint Denis in everything, so it looks like it's really coming along. It's going to look absolutely amazing. I mean, this thing from above looks very, like, it doesn't look like huge, but when I think you walk into this, it's going to be gigantic. So here's some great overview of the entire work being done on the Ministry of Magic space and everything. Not much like I said to talk about with this. The biggest thing though is some scaffolding has already started to come down. You can see where the arrow is, that the scaffolding has already started to come down. You can see that they've started putting, you know, some weathering on the roofing. You can kind of see it off to the left and the right all throughout. So it means they're really starting to get onto the real theming side of everything, so they really are trying to focus on that. Here's another great view of all of that weathering being done. You can actually see a couple workers working on it as well. So that means that we've seen that first set of scaffolding come down, which means we may see more and more scaffolding coming down. They still haven't poured any of the walkways yet because you have so much still movement. The concrete work on the, like, where the pathway is for the guests will not probably happen until probably 8 months, 6 to 8 months out from Epic opening. Here's another great overhead view you can see of the skyline of the buildings, how small this is really going to be, but you can see where the attraction is going to be, and you can kind of see in the backside where this potential renovation, this expansion could happen for a great hall experience. One more good view of, you can see the weathering starting to happen on some of the work. You can still see some of the buildings that's still being built up. On the back side here, it looks like you have looks like will be the extended queue for the new Harry Potter attraction they're going to have in here for the Ministry of Magic. You kind of see where the entrance point will be as well. So not quite sure how this will all work with like in queues and everything, but it looks like they could send you outside for part of the queue and then back inside, kind of like how Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts has that whole exterior queue you can't quite see. Some more work being done on the courtyard area. You can see they started working on some of the roofing, but it looks like they still got a lot of roofing still to be put on the backside, because it's like the area looks like where you'll go into the actual attraction itself. And then more of the roof coming in. It looks like you got a narrow street with stairs of turrets coming up right here. Not sure what this is supposed to be, but I do think this is all part of potentially the second phase of the Harry Potter land expansion. Because I think when they did this, they started out with this, and then they realized some things they could have added. But Epic has some space to expand still. Now, here's one more last good look. You can kind of see off to the left. You got the archway coming into the actual city space, everything. You've got all the work being done. And like I said, it's going to be really hard to see what's going on with the Harry Potter land because of most of it is going to be inside. So this may be, once you start seeing scaffolding, great, but outside of that, you may not see a whole lot. On to Dark Universe. So Dark Universe is going to be the monster land here at Epic Universe. And I'm hoping what I'm doing is when we start with all these, I'm showcasing the portal entries into each of these lands, because someone did take a video of the portals themselves. So this is so the monsters is going to have a Frankenstein themed restaurant. You got the Curse of the Werewolf. You got a Kuka Arm, a style attraction for the manor. This village looks absolutely amazing. Kind of a good view coming from the portal into the actual village. There's going to be a lot of detail going on here, and you can't quite see it because they still got a lot of scaffolding up. So as the scaffolding starts coming down, we'll definitely see more and more coming out of it. Here's a fantastic overhead view of all of the Dark Universe. Off to the left, you got the big show building for the manor attraction. That will be the Kuka Arm attraction. Off to the right, kind of in the middle, you have the Curse of the Werewolf attraction. In the very bottom right, you've got the Burning Blades Tavern. You got the village in the middle, which will probably have all your shopping area as well. And just so much trees are already starting to go in, because I think they want these trees to grow and to look really good by the time it opens. So we're going to start in the back corner. This back corner area, you're going to see there is a back of house building starting to be built right behind the Burning Windmill restaurant. So here's a great view of your Burning Blade Tavern, which is inspired by the 1931 Frankenstein movie. You know, terraced hillside. A lot of trees are already being placed, a lot of rock work's being done already. Here's a good view. You kind of see off to the left, you can see how they've already started kind of putting trees into the little sections off to the left. Off to the very right, though, this gray building, it looks like it's going to be an outdoor seating area, so you can be able to sit outside and eat your food. Here's a Google view of it from far away, where you have the Curse of the Werewolf. You have this tavern, which it looks like that there will be a windmill, and that's going to be on fire. It's going to be on fire while it is open. Here's another good side view. You can see we were talking about this gray roofing is going to be where the outdoor seating area is for it. So we're going to give a good straight down shot of the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster, the family spinning ride that's going to have a swing launch. Started doing a lot of work on this already. Here you got kind of the queue space where it looks like they've already got the queue. You got this plywood that's going down, which looks like where it's going to have where the queue is going to end up going, and then potentially on the left side where the exit will be coming from. Here you got another side view. The arrow right here is pointing down to, in that staging picture I showed earlier, there was kind of a wagon that potentially is going to be going right next to where the swing launch area is going to be, slash where the entrance, slash where the name of the attraction will be going. They started doing a lot more work. They've got a lot of the work on the roof done on the swing bridge. Now I wonder if this is going to be on fire, because that's what a lot of times they talk about, was this going to be on fire. Here's another good view of where the shack is, that'll possibly be on burning, the queue, and the fact that this, like I said, it's not a very long ride. You launch out, you go over these little sides, around the corner, up into the swing launch. You'll go forward, back, and then it'll swing you up around potentially like the highest point of the attraction into the brake run while the cars are spinning. So is it going to be like a style like Guardians of the Galaxy or not? We're not 100% sure yet. Here you got kind of looks like the point where you'll come out of the station, and this whole like rods and everything that are built up looks like that will have a tent space for it, where then it'll take you into the actual launch, which I wonder if it's gonna be like you'll go out and immediately launch, or will it hold you for a second and then launch you? It's kind of the question I have. Now going on to the manor ride that they are building, you can see off to the left is where the ramp line is, where the jagged walls are. That's where the entrance will more than likely be going. There's a lot of stone work being done, the jagged rocks on the very top. Here off behind it looks like you got an extended queue, kind of like what they're built, like kind of what they've done over for the Harry Potter attraction right here. All right, so here's the good view on the extended queue potentially, where there's like a little crypt off to the right. You can kind of see this kind of overall view of the area we kind of looked at, like you got the burning blades, you got the werewolf, potentially a standalone quick service spot. So you got this whole space, which I think a lot of this queue is going to end up being outside, so hopefully it's covered. Now we're going to kind of move on to so now you're going to kind of come into the village area. So this is where you come in through the portal into the actual village space. So right here you can see they've already started working on a lot of the steel structure to add in all of this concrete work. It looks like that you'll pass through a framing area that right here in the middle looks like that is going to be broken and everything. Here's a great shot of the village space from far away that they have, and there's just a lot going on. Like you even got this where it's like where you exit out by where the manor is. You got the village where the road works or the concrete works all being worked on, and it just kind of just it shocks me. Just they've got this coaster built, and they've got these workers and all this heavy machinery still so close to the actual ride. So you got all your work being done on the village, you know, where the guests will be passing through to come in through the main portal point. You'll come through this area, kind of like shopping, probably a little quick service. That'll take you into the main part where you have the manor attraction, the Curse of the Werewolf, the Burning Blade Tavern, everything else. And so lots of work being done on the Dark Universe stuff. Here's a great kind of just overview what the land will look like from straight down. So you got the portal off to the left going into the actual village, because there's only gonna be like one way to come in is through the village, to get to the manor attraction on the very bottom, with the werewolf attraction on the middle, with your Burning Blade Tavern off to the right. So that is our Dark Universe construction right now. It's definitely going to be a great land. Like you can't really tell a lot what's happening with it because of so much theming still has to be done for it. So now we are going to move on to potentially my favorite area of Epic Universe, and then it's going to be the How to Train Your Dragon space. And this is a cool, really far pulled out shot of how to train your dragon from the entry portal into the lagoon, with the How to Train Your Dragon coaster that pretty much wraps the entire area. This is going to open with, I think, tied for the most amount of rides in a land. I think it ties it with Nintendo Land, because you have the coaster, the spinning ride, and the Target boat attraction as well. So starting out here is your portal entry. This is an amazing looking portal. They've got some theming rock, model rock work going on kind of the bottom left, but they're starting to kind of get an idea how they want it to look like. Off to the left, you got some permanent fencing and some temporary fencing for the coaster itself, which just means in a good mindset, I think that means soon you'll start seeing a test car going around to check the reach on the coaster. Here's a good shot of it going in from the portal into the lagoon, where you have the Viking and the dragon with the with the Viking ships in the background. The boardwalk that they've been working on looks absolutely amazing. Something I did notice is it looked like they have drained the lagoon again, so I wonder if they put all that in to check for any leaks, check for any issues, make sure that everything was good and covered, so they took care of all that. Here's kind of a good behind the view coming in, so you got your portal in the top right with the coaster there, coming into your lagoon, coming into where the mead hall's in the middle with your How to Train Your Dragon boat ride with potentially another sit-down restaurant off to the left. Here you got the lagoon space coming in. The Viking ship they started working on the last time we looked at it looks like it's already started to come along. It's kind of funny not seeing any water in this again. So I wonder if it was really just testing it. Also, the fact that when the last time we looked at this, it had just rained the day before, the few days before. Here's another up close view. You can see the boardwalk area has been completed. It looks like they've added a temporary walkway for the workers. So that means not everything is fully down yet, or it's not been tested for weight yet. So they want that spot only to be where the workers walk on right now. Here's kind of a left to right view of the lagoon, your boardwalk, your dragons, your How to Train Your Dragon boat ride at the very bottom, Mead Hall, potentially another shopping area, and the coaster just weaving throughout. I mean, there's coasters everywhere, I feel like. So right off to the right, you saw this little building. It was the Grog and Gruel sign, so it looks like it's potentially going to be a quick service location for food. A lot of rock work starting to happen. A lot of this framing starting to go up, so that means you see this framing, soon you'll see that like mesh metal getting put onto it at some point to then add in all the features of like rock work being on the side of the hill. Here's another good side view. You can see the statues on the very bottom. I love this. I love this little Viking's face. The coaster once again coming through this area, so you'll be able to see it. Probably stand off in this area, see this coaster going through the water. You're gonna be really close to the water on this coaster. A lot more of that framing starting to go up. So start working on the rock work. You can see on the very bottom, all this rock work started being done. So here you've got Mead Hall, and you can already see some of the that mesh sculpt that we were talking about the last time we talked about it. If you look, you got your Viking statue starting to be built up, and where your walkway will go into the actual Mead Hall. Looks like this will be your sit-down restaurant, potentially 2 sit-down restaurants or an experience in itself. All of this now covered, and you can see some more sculpting has gone, more scaffolding has gone up. It looks like they'll start doing some of the concrete work to start molding this into it. Another back view of it, you can see how protruding this like rock work goes up. So you'll be able to see this thing all throughout. Right over here, looks like they've got some roofing being done, put on the How to Train Your Dragon boat ride area. Here's another good farther out view of Mead Hall and everything expanding. You've got like this you'll see scaffolding probably go up over the Vikings in the front entrance here very soon. Here's a great view of the How to Train Your Dragon like boat ride target practice. They've added the roofing on. You can see where the burning windmills are. It's a very short little attraction, but it is going to be shooting kind of like Men in Black. So even though it looks short, but you also got to remember this is looking from a helicopter from BioConstruct. Here's a great view, because now we're gonna start moving on to the coaster itself. So this How to Train Your Dragon coaster, you can see where the back of house like building where they're gonna store the coasters are. Here you've got like the brake run that'll take you back into the dual loading and unloading station, which I think is great. And this also leads in from your first launch. So you can see on the very top right, it comes down, the launch will then come over, and you can see they've added in these wing nets. So here's a great view of your station leading down the little pathway, which is actually kind of cool because it goes right next to where you'll actually finish the coaster itself, into this structure right here. Now, depending on what happens with the structure, it could be different, but you can see all the wing safety nets going around, because with this potentially going over all these walkways, they have to add in the wing nets, which also means this is going to be a coaster that you're going to have to go through metal detectors and have to put stuff into lockers. So that's just knowing Universal, knowing this routine, that's what happens. Here you've got more of the work being done over by the second launch. You've got this reach device for testing for the reach of the coaster itself. Your second launch space, which a lot of rock work's been done. They've already taken a lot of scaffolding down everything, so they've got a lot coming on. Potentially, like I said, in these areas, you'll have some maybe Toothless or the Light Fury animatronic. Got more concrete pour happening around the spinning ride right here. You got another great view of where the spinning ride is. This coaster will go right by it. You got the blue dummies that they were using to test it on the right spinning ride. The left one still has their dummies on it, so maybe that one's got a little more testing to be done. And just overall, this thing, and then off to the back corner, you have another space, looks like potentially another sit down where they've very sculpted in a sign of some sorts. Just overall, this land is really coming along. And I gotta tell you what, this is the land that looks like it's gonna be 100% my favorite land, if by far. I mean, it's coming along great. Right, so we are gonna go ahead and move on to Starfall Racers, aka the Dueling coaster, which is actually, just looking at the sheer size of this coaster in comparison to the rest of like a land like How to Train Your Dragon, it's pretty impressive how big this coaster is. This is going to be the premier roller coaster here at Epic Universe. It's going to have some close encounter points. It's going to have 2 launches. This thing is going to be absolutely nuts. One of the first things we will look at is by the main entrance area, they've started filling out like this weird pattern on the ground. Like now they was like this colorful concrete, but it looks like they have put this like protective sheet over it to protect it from the elements, but also there's like a little star or like star point where it looks like it would be for Starfall Racers. Here you can kind of see the like some of the elements or the entrance. You're looking at the back side of it, but you can see where the main launch is off to the left, or the second launch, and then you've got the point where it comes off the brake run back into the station itself. Here you've got some progress on the roof of the station. Looks like they started like filling in some of the spots and maybe starting to do some work on the actual theming elements or just protective coating from the elements. Here's some good elements to see. You've got the very tall top hats here, and this number 2 is going to be where they have a celestial spin crisscross as they roll. So this is going to be very similar to like, it's not quite a full inversion, but it looks like this is going to be a close encounter moment between the coaster cars. And you've also got some of the work still being done on the theming on the back end. On the very bottom, the little track that goes underneath, looks like that goes out of the station and goes into the main launch. It takes you off into the top hats and the celestial roll. You can kind of see they're still working on these elements, and there's a lot of talk that this is going to be a water element where it's going to have jets that are going to like push water out as like shoot water out as you go by them. So that'd be really cool. So Starfall Racers is gonna be the premier attraction at Epic. Like this is going to probably have either Hagrid's level wait times or even Velocicoaster level wait times, because this is a two launching, huge amounts of airtime, lots of close encounters. You're literally next to each other almost the entire ride. So it's going to be a fantastic ride once it comes to Epic. So on to the 3 hotels here at Epic Universe. You have your 2 essentially like Cabana Bay level ones, which are going to be Terra Luna and Stella Luna. Terra Luna is the one that is going to be closest to it. You can see they're just now starting to get a lot of that colorful tile on, but Stella Nova in the back has got a lot of work happening so far and it looks amazing. Stella Nova, you got a great overview of the resort. Looks like you've got the area where the pool is going to be, the hot tub, and then probably a poolside bar and grill probably going to be going into place. You can see where the porte cochere will be, so like the main entrance point is. We'll be able to see a better idea of what this will look like when we look at Stella Nova. But you can see they really haven't started working on any of the theming here, and even like the AC ducts on the very top have not been installed. So it gives you kind of an idea of the difference of where these 2 hotels are at, where Stella Luna is going to be opening a month and a half before Terra Luna will be opening. Great, better look at the pool. In here, looks like they've got something kind of being built off in the background. Not quite sure what that is. All right, so looking at Stella Nova, so this is the one that is almost completed with all of the colorful tiles, especially on the first, like, it looks like the top 7 levels here. You got that one little spot left. Here's a great view of what will be the entrance side of the resort, where you have the porte cochere, where you'll be able to enter in, like where the drop-off area is. I'll take you into the lobby. So like this is where, like, if you're going to be driving up, you can drive up, and more likely be where you'll do valet parking if you're going to be doing valet parking. Here is Stella Nova's pool. So this is going to be a very nice long, like octagon style pool, and I wonder if this really is going to be like a giant hot tub right here at the very bottom, because this is going to be a bar and grill area off to the side. Here's a great view of some of the glass that's been recently added to the lobby entrance. You can see right behind, like, looks like the tongue thing. There's a lot of like glass, so that means they're really moving along, and you can really see some of the last bit of the tiles going into place. And here's some of your staging area and the parking lot for Stella Nova. Now again, more likely this will get pushed out. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with a parking garage. Kind of thought they would go with a parking garage per se, but maybe they're anticipating this having a lot of parking spaces for Stella Nova. And here's a really, really good view of the work being done, where you can see this is not the entrance side, it's the back side, where it looks like you got the lobby with all the the panels of glass, the pool, the bar and grill, and everything else. And on to the last in-park hotel, which is more likely to be called the Helio. This is going to be the in-park hotel. This is going to be the level of your Hard Rock Hotel. Here's a great view of it from if you're going to be in the park looking at it. They got definitely a lot more work to do on this one compared to Stella and Luna Nova, which again, those are going to be opening probably 6 months to 7 months before Epic opens. Here's a great view of the pool and the outdoor recreation area. You can actually see they've actually started lining where the pool will be going. Here's a much closer view. You can definitely see this is going to be a really good sized pool. Now I wonder if it's not just going to be a pool, maybe they have a little lazy river in it. Not so sure, but you can see where the pool bar and the grill, probably the food place, will be going. Here's definitely the lower levels, looking at it from the park into the actual hotel. You can see they've got all the waterproofing going down before they do the concrete pour. And it looks like they've got some restaurant at the base of the park hotel on the left side starting to be worked on, so maybe more likely going to be a dining for location for within the park and not quite attached to the hotel itself. It is starting to look, so we're going to have to look at the top of the hotel, and I'm going to get a really good up close view. They've got this yellow truss going in to support the top of a dome that will be going on the very top of the Helio Resort. Here's a better view of it where it's going to like illuminate, and more likely going to be either dining or a lounge area. Someone said this probably gonna be like a ballroom, but like maybe for like renting out like convention center space and all that stuff. So looks really stinking cool. This thing is going to look so good at night. And they do have, actually, it looks like this is going to be the ballroom spot off to the left. So off to the right was where the dome was, but off to the left right here is going to be a ballroom space, like going above it, so you can see like it's curved, but underneath it where all the little supports are, that's where a ballroom's going to go. And there's one other view of what will be the Helio Resort. They did build a parking garage for this one now because I think it's got less space, but you can see where the entrance into the hotel is going to be, where then you'll be able to say if you got the in-park room, you're going to be able to have one of the best views. Plus the fact they really do use this for projections. It's going to be absolutely amazing. One more look before we get done, like the first picture we showed you, where you got Stella and Terra Nova. All the road work starting to happen here as well, and you can see where Epic is in the background, so they're really working along very quickly on this. And I have to tell you guys what, this is becoming so this is happening so quickly. This was announced in 2018, got put on hiatus during the pandemic, and has come back in full force. And the fact that we're about a year and a half away from this thing opening and it looks the way it does already is amazing. So but let me know, guys, what is going to be your favorite area of Epic Universe? What is the most surprising thing that you see? And what is the one attraction that you are most looking forward to? I still say that How to Train Your Dragon is probably my favorite area, but the thing that I'm most excited for is that How to Train Your Dragon coaster because of how it wraps around the entire thing. So, but make sure you guys if you haven't done so and you want to hang out with more of our adventures as we walk through Orlando, make sure you do hit that subscribe button, leave a like. If you're interested in any of our other Universal adventures, just check them out right here. We have a whole playlist, including our last update of Epic Universe, so make sure you go check that out. And with all that being said, as we do head out from another walking adventure through the update of Epic, we will see y'all next time.